We're going to start off with just talking about what you have here. What your inputs are, what devices you have in space. So I'm just going to do a little pointing here. This location here, and in the back, you have your DMX input. That's how you plug in your control console. The room, for controlling lights, basically you have wall stations, push-button stations on each entry. So there are 3 different room spaces you have. And then you have a master LCD station, which is right underneath the AV control station. Fixtures. You have different types of fixtures in this room. You have these downlights here, which I'm calling RGBW fixtures. So it's red, green, blue, white. And then you have the theatrical fixtures here, which are called color source. And the other fixture type are these backlights here. They're on dimmers. You see these right here? Colored lights here. And then we have the chandeliers. Those are the other fixtures. All these elements in the room are controlled by the system. So that's basically what we have in the space. So the first thing you do, just how do you get lights on? That's what we're going to look at today. How do we come into this room and just get lights on so I can have an assembly and do something? And basically, it starts off with walking into the room, and it's as simple as going to a wall station, and we'll shut them off right now, and then coming in here and turning lights on. Chandeliers.
Could you go over that again?
I can add more lights. Each button here is called a preset. These are going to be permanently installed presets. They'll never change. Once the committees or whoever decide how you want to have this thing set up, basically you walk in, you'll be able to turn on chandeliers, you'll be able to turn on how I have it set here, just like this. You'll have just your downlights, or your RGBWs, and then you have your chandeliers and RGBWs. You're seeing a lot of light right now because the RGBWs are actually playing all 4 colors of LEDs. That's why if you look at the RGBWs, they're a little bit brighter than they would be in this state. Oops, excuse me, wrong button. In this state. Notice how they're a little dimmer? That's just all the white LEDs. All right, then there's another device here called a fader. By doing that, I'm able to control the intensity of the fixtures in the room. All right, what this is basically doing is going out there, when the preset is being played, goes out there, grabs the preset, and then able to dim. All right, let's go through the operation. Okay, I'm walking into the space. I need to get my lights on. How do I turn on my lights? Just walk into the room, press the preset button, preset number 1. I'm going to have light.
Do you have to be logged in or anything?
No,
like that?
there's no login, there's nothing at all. These are active pretty much all the time. There's only one condition, that these stations in the room are not active, and we'll talk about that later. But primarily, the biggest question what everyone has, how do I turn on lights? That's how simple it is. You'll walk into the room, press a button. I want to augment the lights a little bit, and I want a little dimmer. Take your slider, wherever position it is, the first thing you need to do is bring it up to a level that matches at the level that's in the room. And then that slider will grab those levels and start controlling them. Like this now, these are up at 100%. I have to bring this up to 100%. Notice when the little green light comes on, it's captured this preset. Now it'll be bringing down these lights to whatever level I want. How these buttons are going to play back will be predetermined. Out of the box, I decided that this is going to be your chandeliers. Out of the box, I decided the second button is going to be no chandeliers and just your downlights. Same thing. I can grab the downlights and take them out and set dip levels.
Question?
Yes.
Those little eyeballs up there, that one's on.
Yeah, okay.
Tell us about those.
We talked about the fixtures in the room. The fixtures I talked about in the room are the fixtures we control through the ETC dimming system and the ETC control system. Lights like these are elements that were never put in the system. They're non-dimmable. They're taken care of by manual wall switches. For instance, those over there And the ones back in that corner there is a switch over there. Okay? So they're not in our control system. Plain and simple. Okay, so that's the slider station. The next element here is the LCD touchscreen. This is part of the lighting control system. It's here, and I'll give you a better demonstration of the laptop.
Frank, one other question.
Yes.
Those three, how are those controlled? Yeah.
Again, I call these three lights downlights. Actually not downlights, I'm calling them backlights.
Okay.
Stage right, stage left, and center stage. They are controllable through the touchscreen. You can bring them up, they're dimmable. And they can be added if you wanted to into those permanently decided presets once we determine how really to set the basic looks that this room has when you walk into the room. Any questions? That's a basic system. Oh, one other item. All this stuff is all controlled through devices that are behind this wall here. There's a relay electrical panel, and there's a architectural control processor. The two basic elements that control the lights in this room. Okay? Any questions? Okay, moving on to the touchscreen. This is the touchscreen. And to get into it, it goes to sleep. So you'll see no display. Just like the other touchscreen, you have to touch it. You touch the touchscreen, and a passcode. It requires to get in to get access. This level of usage, again, you all have to determine how you want to use it. Right now there's a passcode in it, and I will put that code in here. Nobody look. Okay? And just like in the other situation, you have a room. That's your first thing that comes up. You have to determine that, is this one big room or is this going to be three separate rooms? Because one of the things that this system does is when you put these walls in the system, those wall stations then become separate entities to those spaces. So if I would have this partition in and this partition in, making that room its own space, I can walk in the room, push that button, these chandeliers will come on, that chandelier will come on, but not in that space. Okay? And from what I understand, this will be determined by the people that are putting in the air walls, i.e. the maintenance staff. So they would normally come into this panel and push those buttons, so no one in that space or that space will have access to the other space's lights. Realize that this touchscreen, though, overrides all that. Notice, it just timed out. There's a 2-minute timeout, increase it or decrease it or take it off completely. When you touch that touchscreen, if you're not touching the buttons anymore, it'll page the timeout and lock you out again. That's just for security. So you can walk away from it and not have to worry about shutting it down. It will just reset and lock you out. So once we get back into the screen,
When it locks you out, these whatever setup you have at current setup, it still stays in effect, even though it locks you out.
yeah. Everything's still good. Everything you did doesn't change. You just don't. You lose access after 2 minutes if you're not actively pushing buttons. If you look at this way the screen's laid out, you have navigation buttons on the left. You go to these different screens of presets, and these are your different elements of fixtures I told you about. And then you have obviously the wall button. So in presets, this might be your basic level user access page. You'll come in here and maybe access this page, and these presets, everything has a name on it. Now if you looked at John's presentation, he had banquet, meeting, presentation, movie. We can set light levels, preset them, and set them up so they don't change. When you press that button, I'm doing a banquet, you press that button. Lights will go to a certain level and set themselves. And we'll call that banquet. Movie, when dark in the room, that could be that button. Because movie, what would you want to do? Well, let's say in a movie situation, you may want all these lights out for sure, but every one of these downlights here, the RGBWs, are individually controllable. We can turn on just a couple of fixtures in the back over your entries. Okay, so to create a lobby area, so you can walk into the space, sit here in this darkened room, and still see what you're doing back there. Notice there's two lights over this area here during a banquet. You might want your kitchen staff, this light's over here in the kitchen, and the brighter, and this down. Those are all possible with this system. And then when someone comes in here, we'll press the banquet button, and it'll preset itself. Now, anything is changeable. And to do that, you go back into the system, you set the basic look with your, you put your walls in and take them out. Okay, or no walls. You go down to your presets, play, I don't have anything programmed into this banquet mode, but let's say I did, which would be, let's say, preset 1. And that's just setting up the lights to look a certain way. And then I can go here to my downlights and go ahead and set color to those downlights. Make it look like something. All right, if I want a pink motif for that banquet, and record it into that button. So I can, or not even record, just play that look, have it look like that. Backlights, I can add my backlights. Now what I'm going to do right now is, I'm showing you what I can do with each individual section, and I'm going to show you live that it does work and how it works. All right, so you get a visual here. We go to live mode. All right, so we get into our system. Okay, I'm going to leave the walls open. I'm going to go to presets. Let's play preset 1. Preset 1 will be my chandeliers. Okay, well, I'm doing something here. Let's say that was the banquet button. If I press banquet here, banquet has nothing in it, it's all zeros. Okay, so I'll have a look in here. I'm going to go to my downlights. I want the downlights to look a certain way. I'm going to make a color. Let's make them color here. I'm just doing it in the front here. I have all 3 sections are accessible. So now, take out the white light. Excuse me. Leave this up. Take out the white light. We have a red room. I can go to my chandeliers and give some chandeliers in the room. Let's put some chandeliers on. Okay, now I'm setting my banquet. Backlights. I need some backlight in here because I want this beautiful mural I have back here on. There's some backlights. And then I walk away. I got a banquet. I've augmented whatever was in that banquet button. I had nothing in the banquet button, now I have something. I don't have anything in the button, I have now playing something and playing a look. I've set something in the room and walk away. Another feature in this system which I have not put in, and I'm still working on that, is an active lockout on this touch screen. Because currently, if anybody were to walk into the room right now, and I'm doing the banquet, just hit the button. Larry walked in the room and hit this button just because he likes to play with buttons. He just played another preset. Okay? So, an active thing you might need to put in here is a lockout. So if there's a function going on, it's only controllable by the touchscreen. Okay? It's something you guys need to think about.
Yeah. Question?
Yes?
So the touchscreen panel for the AV doesn't have a timer on it like yours does, is that right?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And right now your timer is like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I can increase it, decrease it, keep more time. We found that people forget, and locking out a system, it's just easier. Time it out. If I'm doing something on here, I'm going to do it real quick and I'll walk away anyway, so there's plenty of time for that. So we've looked at the touch screen, we looked at what it can do, and other elements. One thing it does also do, in the background, we have a little admin button. This is where, in the page that's about to pop up, I've got to hide the code. Do you mind if I go into this, Larry? Okay. In the admin situation, this is a higher level. This is where you guys really set your presets. And in admin, we have a record button. And remember I said we had colored lights and all that, and we also have that magical button before the button's in it. Again, this may change a little bit because we'll have to work on layout. The magical button number 4 is preset 4. It's mapped to this button currently. In the future, those 4 buttons may not exist in here at all, but they may need a further background secure page. But it's basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset my lights. I'm going to take my chandeliers to half. This does not work very well from here to record because I'm working on a software that's in here. The talking software that's in my processor. So I'm going to do it at that panel. I really want to record it. I'm not going to do it here. But let's get their down lights. Let's put some color in here. Take out the whites. No, that was the whites area. There we go. Leave those on. Put some color here. There we go. And okay, that's the look I want. I'm going to go over to my admin page, put in my password, and then I'm going to hit the record button and record it to preset 4. Something like this, your technical service department may want to leave as a free button for those that one group, or that one individual, or that one-off, how would you say, rental, okay, the bonus, whatever, and they want a special look. If you set it up for them, they don't need to go to the touch screen. Okay, so I hit the record button. I'm going to hit preset 4. Okay? I just recorded what's playing right now into that preset. So that when I come here and I come into the room, got my chandeliers on, and then our special function or rental or whatever you want to call it has that one little button because they requested all those little niceties of the room. They hit preset 4. They have it. Okay? Again, how we can fashion these 4 buttons for everyone to use on a regular basis is something that will be determined by your committees. But it's anything, these buttons are always changeable on the console. And then we have this extra to go in here and actually just access and do things directly from here. And there'll be multiple presets. Another thing that's good, that's possible is this. We're talking about the second page here of special presets that we can run a small little show from here. If you're going to do something, small event, you could run presets. Preset 5. Again, there's nothing in here. Just look at the screen. Preset 6. And the lights change, just like we just did here. Preset 1. Preset 2. Call them cues. I have a presenter. I want to take the lights out. I want to bring up podium. And then the presenter's over with. I want to go to another look. Go to the next preset. We have multiple presenters. We have a little stage band. All that can be configured into the system. Any questions?
Yeah, I have one.
Yes.
So when you go to the chandeliers, for example, and you click on that, you only have one slide. You only have one slide because they're always one color.
Yes.
However, when you go to the downlights, you have 2 slides for each room.
Right.
Because
Explain it a little unclear. Let's look at how that works. Downlights. We have a room. It's room 1. That's the space right here. These sliders are basically controlling the intensity of the light.
John,
Yeah.
Frank, I think we should rename room 1, 2, 3 to the names of the room.
Okay, that's no problem. So we'll call them, I'll change them. But anyway, if this is intensity, and this is white, these are the white LEDs in the fixtures. Right now, what you see right now, bring this down, capture. What you're seeing right now is RGB, red, green, and blue LEDs, all combined and forming a type of white light. If I hit the color button, I'm now able to augment those 3 LEDs to form different colors. I mean, light is made up of basically red, green, blue. That's what white light is. At different intensities. Remember color palettes. Okay? And then I'm able to dim them.
So if the walls are up a certain way, then are they controlled differently by this panel?
Yeah, if the walls are up, well, in this panel here, I haven't experimented with it, but these are the separate rooms. If the walls are in, and I've recorded it through the button, and I had this as the whole space as a blue room, which is what you see right now, and I would record it, and then put up walls. If I walk into the room and hit preset 4, this will go blue. But those rooms would stay in whatever color they were in, or whatever look preset. So if we were playing preset 1, originally we walk in the rooms, put in the walls, and I hit preset 4 for this space, this room will change. Those other 2 rooms will not change. Yes?
What's the slider just to the right of the one you were doing?
Oh yeah, remember I said there's 4 LEDs in the system. RGB and white. White has its own separate intensity channel. So, color, these are your white LEDs. Now notice how all LED sliders came up at the same time? That's because the combined room is one big room. Yes.
I'm moving from stage right to stage left, and I want to light, track that movement from stage right to stage left, or I want to move out into the...
Totally different world. Okay, good question. It's a totally different world. This here is basic architectural controls. What you're talking about is the actual lighting. And yes, the system will do that. And
Would it make more sense to you guys if rather than saying intensity white, it said like color white or RGB and white? Understand, that's not what it's called technically, but for you guys, I think that'll be easier for you to understand. The left faders for the colors and the right faders for the white.
okay, so color and white, right? Any other questions on the touchscreen as operation? Yes.
All right, so if there is some sort of a drama thing going on, which they do, and it lasts more than 5 minutes or whatever the timeout is, I mean, you can still control that throughout the hour and a half thing?
Well, you just got to make sure that you're touching some element of that touch screen, meaning just touch the screen in a blank space. That keeps it awake. No, you can't. It's hard coded into the system, whatever time you're trying to. Every 5, within that 5 minutes, yes. Right? This is basic level operation.
Right.
It's doing a small little show, maybe for, and what's a show? Speaker, presentation, maybe a little quick dance number with a few light cues. That's it.
This goes back to a policy decision we made during programming, in that touch panel is really designed for you to maybe go up to once in a while. You might go up there for a few minutes and set up your look, but you're not going to go back and touch it unless you're going to change a scene. You're going to change from banquet to dancing or something like that. So you're not standing it there for a long time, always adjusting it. You're accessing presets from the button panel, and then you're making variations from the presets on the touch screen. Anything more involved than that, which I think is where you guys are headed, is all done from the console. So you have somebody back here, and they're constantly changing things. Okay?
Okay, so that's the segue now into what other ways we're going to control the lights. Any other questions on touchscreen? And, okay. In the space here, I have 3 devices. This is a relay panel. It's called an Echo. It's called an Echo mains feed relay panel. This is a Paradigm architectural processor unit, and this is a network switch. Okay. In here is your DMX gateway. I'll explain what that is in a moment. All right, so first thing we have here is a relay panel. The system out there, in order to power your lights and control your lights, we're doing a bunch of different things in this system. This is configured, this is what they call a Echo mains feed, which is not, there could be a breaker here, because it's top feed, comes off a breaker in your electrical room, okay? Feeds this panel electrically. These are standard breakers, but they feed relays that are in here. Some of the relays have been replaced with dimmers. And we're able to control the direct dimmable LEDs or direct dimmable incandescent fixtures out there through those dimmers in here. This cabinet holds 300 watt dimmers, even though it's a 20 amp breaker up here. You replace the 20 amp relay and put a 300 watt dimmer. Why is it 300 watts? Because that's what fits in this little space. Right? It's meant to control low voltage lighting or throw a quick 300 watts out if you need to control something. And I'll show you how we did that. We used this feature. In this panel here, you have a control processor. The way most ETC equipment has a check button, that's your enter button, a navigation button, and a back button. It also has a little go-to button. That's like a, we go to this button here to automatically kick it into something that says set levels. In an emergency, if I needed to turn on lights or turn on breakers, turn on relays I should say, I can go here, hit set levels, hit the check bar, hit the light bulb, hit the check button again, and I get into the screen here where I can select 1 through 24, relays or dimmers, they're already pre-configured, by punching 1 through 24, hitting the check mark, and typing in a value, like 100%. And then once I hit the check button again, I've turned on whatever was off. Notice you didn't hear any relays click, because they're on already, and you're not going to hear a dimmer come up. But anything that was dimmable has now turned on. And guess what just turned on? If you take a look out there, you'll see what's on right now. Exactly. They weren't on before. Those are dimmable through the 300 watt dimmers here. So your chandeliers are controlled from here, and what I call your backlights. That's also controlled from this cabinet. The power for these lights come from that cabinet, but not the control. Those are your down lights, or I call them the RGBWs. The fixtures here on the strips here, power comes from this cabinet, but the control comes from, ultimately, the architectural processor. Okay? Since I've just done that, I've kicked all the lights on. This is a tool to use in an emergency to turn on lights right away if you get something's happened, like your control system dies. I just showed you, the chandeliers can come on that way. Think of how this thing is controlled. I'm going to cover the control path in a moment. Let me go back a bit. All right, so that's what that is. Breaker number 26 is your architectural processor. If I hit this off, this dies. Your push button stations die. Okay? I have no way to control my system. Why? Because the architectural processor is no longer spitting out the control signals to make everything work. So this button here, this is important to stay on. So those are the two things that need to be on to make your system controllable. So this will go through a boot process. If the building loses power, these things will just die and then come back on. There's really no problem with them. You don't have to reload software. You shouldn't have to do anything. Okay? I just shut the power on this as if there was a power outage. This is going to boot back up in a moment. Make sure check all your control stations, put them all back online, and put the software in that makes it work, and it's all good to go again. Again, you don't have to worry about it. All right? But just realize this is talking to your system, and this is talking to your system, making it controllable.
There's no UPS in there, right?
Right, there's no UPS in the system. So that's this. Breakers 27, 28, 29, 30. When I have inspection on Thursday, you'll have a plastic piece here where you'll have a load schedule. That tells you what each breaker goes to. Currently, nothing's going to change. The way this works is breakers 1, 2, 3, and 4 go to relays that are permanently on. No, I'm sorry. Go to dimmers. I should replace them. Go to dimmers that are switchable and controllable through your control system. Breakers 5, 6, 7, and 8. 5, 6, 7, and 8 are always on. That's what keeps your RGBW fixtures always on and ready to go as soon as they retrieve control signal. They are being kept on directly by the way I've configured the slots. We'll let them go there. Okay? 9, 10, 11, 12. Everything else pretty much is all kept permanently on. So you don't have to worry about anything. The only thing that switches on the system on a regular basis is breaker number 24, and that is the frog pump out front. This system has a clock in it, the Paradigm system. It will turn this breaker on and off. From 8 a.m. it will turn it on in the morning and turn it off 6 p.m. in the afternoon or in the evening. Okay? That's 24 hours, 7 days a week. Okay? If you guys want to change that, change it. So that's what this breaker is. That's your frog fountain pump. Everything else is either permanently on or it's being switched by this system. So there's really nothing you need to do in here unless there's a problem. Short something out, breaker trips, maybe that's why a light's not working. Look at your panel schedule related to what you're looking out there. Or get me on the phone or let's call tech support. I tend to send all this paperwork to the factory. So if they can look up your job, I will have a job number on this product here at one point before I leave here. And there'll be a little tag, they'll have the job number. 150 is what the job number starts. You can usually talk to them, or just tell them, Trilogy, they'll look up your job. And they'll be able to look at the paperwork. Paperwork won't be basically online at the factory for at least a month or two. They still have to send me the drawings. Long story, and I have to send them the as-built, and by the time they get them marked up and in the system, it could be a couple of months. They're really backed up right now. But ultimately, that information is there, they have it. Okay? Trilogy at Glen Ivy is the name of the job. And that's how you can talk to the factory. Alright, so that covers this panel. The Clarté fixtures need DMX going to them prior to them being re-energized during a power failure. Okay? If they don't, they will listen to DMX and default into their testing mode, which is what you're seeing out there. Right. Right. A simple fix is to go back into this panel once this is energized and everything's good to go, is breakers 5, 6, 7, and 8, those are the FD1 fixtures, turn them off, wait them a second or two, and then start bringing them back online. And if you notice, they're coming not on. Well, they flash, but they're not on, right? Everything's out. Okay. Reason why there's everything out. In the daily schedule of this processor, I have also a function in it, I think 1 in the morning, it turns the lights off. So if the lights are left on in the building, they're not going to stay on more than a 24-hour period, because at 1 in the morning they'll shut off every day of the week. So when this thing shuts down and boots back up again, and it goes through its daily cycle and it recaps all the things it needs to do. All those automated functions like turn off the frog pump, turn on the frog pump. What time of day is it? That's in here. Turn off the lights. What time of day is it? Okay? So it'll boot back up with the lights off. Okay? Always, if there's a power outage. So that's why we have power out. So if you were to go to any of the wall stations, you turn the lights back on. Okay? But what's going to happen, I'll tell you this right now. This will boot up before this comes, this will boot up before this comes up. And most likely those things will go into the rainbow effect. And to fix that problem, come to FD1, your FD fixtures, cycle. Does everyone understand that? Okay. The next piece of gear is, they call this an ENR2 cabinet, is the Paradigm Architectural Processor. I could show you a lot of things on this, but it's just going to get lost. Navigation button, the check button. As soon as you hit that once, your screen will wake up. Hit it again. You're in the menu structure. You'll see a bunch of things here. If you're going to do this, you're going to be on the phone with tech support. Just letting you know, this is what it is. It's your architectural processor. The main thing you're going to go to, you'll go to File Operations. That's the main thing you guys might use in the system. And that's to download and upload configurations, which you'll either get from me or the factory because you either want to make a change or something. If you have a problem with the system, you'll be going to Architectural Control, and they'll be talking you through some of this stuff. Okay, just to see. One of the big things they'll always ask you is the About button. And they'll ask you for what's the version information. What is the software being run in the system? The firmware, 3.1.1.9, that's what's being run. And you just read the stuff off so I know what version stuff you got. Not too much more to tell you about this, unless you have any questions.
Can we put that emergency number on there? So that
I'll put a sticker everywhere. Yeah, they'll have the job number and the... Problem is I don't have the stickers with me because they haven't sent me the terminal.
Just in the next week or something, get them up there so we have them.
Yeah. What you also notice that's on this processor, which is something that's an important piece of gear, is this little add-on device. This is a power over Ethernet switch. I'm doing two forms of communication in this system. I'm using hardline DMX. I'll explain what that is later. coming out of your console. That's the control signal turning the lights. It comes back into this unit in the back on the input side. This then is taking that signal and transmitting it back out to a device over the Ethernet, to a device in this box called a gateway. The gateway then converts that Ethernet signal to DMX. The DMX then is going back out to the Clarté fixtures, sort of like it's like a splitter. Splitting that DMX signal out to the Clarté fixtures, it's splitting that DMX signal over to here and to control this device. It's also splitting the DMX signal to go to the other set. There's two runs of Clarté fixtures. This has 4 outputs, so 1, 2, output number 3, and then the third DMX signal is going to, it's going to the theatrical lights out there. All right? But it's converted from hardline DMX into this processor. The processor is doing all kinds of things in here, like keeping track of what's going on, and then retransmit it on the Ethernet DMX and into this. And this now is then splitting it all out to 4 directions. To the Clarté fixtures again, the theatrical lights there, and to this device here. Okay? You'll never really have to go into this, but know that the device is there in case the factory is trying to ask you something about it. Undo these 4 screws, door opens up, you'll see the device. That device is being powered up by this switch over the Ethernet. Remember, power over Ethernet. So the DC power to make this device work is being provided by this. Look at your indicator lights. There are 2 indicator lights here. One is the link and one is the power. The yellow light's the power. If the yellow light's not on, that means it's not receiving power, and you know it's a powered device. That's a question. Okay? I think that's the right answer for that. Okay?
Is that what's that up there? Wireless?
I'm sorry. Getting back to why this device, there's 3 yellow lights. One yellow light is powering this device. The yellow light is powering up a Wi-Fi. Okay? We have a Wi-Fi in the system. I'll talk a little bit about that. It's in the system, but you're going to need some other stuff to make it work with the system. But I'll tell you what you need and if you want to
Is
play
that
with
an
it.
independent Wi-Fi system, or does that actually work off of our
No, it's an independent Wi-Fi system. Good point. This is a closed network, and it operates in a static IP address. Okay? Do you guys know anything about that stuff? Do you have any questions? I'll talk a little bit about it later. All right? Any questions about what's here? Okay.